I absolutely lost it after this one hand with Queen 10 suited, which we're going to make our way into. But before we get there, guys, we got some good hands to go over, some interesting spots. And I will say this, I've been playing this game for a couple decades, and, I've had my ups and downs, but really the way I approach playing is I'm exploitive. I don't really use a strategy like GTO or like ABC. I kind of pay attention to what people are doing at the table, and I'll just use that against them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I approach this. So I bluff quite a bit, right? And the way that I do this, it's worked well for me. If you want to learn more about that, you can get in our community. It's going to be in the pinned comment. You can talk with me one-on-one as well as some other high-level members. A lot of good stuff in there, and always updating it. And it's good if you're trying to take this a little bit more seriously. I would definitely recommend it. Also, if you tap the like, and let's get right into this. And for the most part, this one's going to be basically like 20 minutes or so. It's not going to be too long, but I think that you'll enjoy what we got to go over here. Also, if you have any questions, comments, things like that, feel free to message me and I'll get back to you. But here we go. All right, so let's take a look at the table. So everyone was pretty much where they started. No one was doing exceptional. Everyone's kind of just like even at this point. Here we have a 5-6 off. We were in the big blind with this. Not really a bad flop for it. I mean, we need the 4. We have 2 overs, if you want to call them overs, 5-6 to this board. It's kind of funny to say that, but, I actually raised this dude right here. Don't ask me why. I mean, this is just such a bad board. Plus, we were in the big blind, so I thought maybe I could make it look like I'm repping a 3 or something, a sneaky 3. Anyways, we got him to fold, which might have been a good play if he had an ace right there, which is possible, I guess. So, whatever. Okay, next here we had ace deuce here. Little ace deuce off. Gonna kick it up here to the 15 piece over to player 1, who just mucked it. And that's how we start. And I wouldn't say, when I do bluff though, I'm definitely like, there's a lot of thought that's going into it. I'm not just winging it. And if I feel like somebody's weak, yeah, man, I'm gonna rip it for sure. When you start, playing against better opponents and you start moving up, that's when you have to understand you can't just play one type of style. And that was kind of the unlock for me, doing this for so long. I started to see that you can still get away with, like using just a basic strategy kind of thing, like GTO, ABC, playing those lower games. But when you play against better people, man, that stuff just doesn't cut it. There's more to it, there's more nuance to this, which is why I just prefer the exploitive nature of playing. It's how I've excelled, and I've been, like I said, doing this for quite some time, and I'll continue doing it farther down the road. I'm not going to go anywhere, okay? I'll always be playing. All right, so Jack 10 off, gonna open here. I did notice everyone was playing pretty tight for the most part, starting things out here, which is kind of annoying. So when you got a bunch of people playing tight, you got to kind of open things up a little bit more. It is what it is. Next hand we had a 6-9 suited, and I was a little bit in the blender with this one. You'll see in a second why. I am going to defend here. I don't think anybody re-raised this. 6-9 suited, it's not like a terrible hand by any means. It's okay. It's good enough to see a flop with, especially in the big blind already. I'd probably call this too if I was in the small for sure. But here we go. Nothing. Okay. Absolutely nothing. Player 1, all he really had to do there was continue. I would have just folded it, but he didn't. He checked it. The river card put out another club. A part of me was actually thinking about bluffing this, and then I just checked it over because it just doesn't make any sense to bluff there. And he went for it right there anyways. So, I'll tell you what. I'm glad I didn't do that, even though it was just a little small sizing on the end there. Saved it, whatever. All right, here we go to the Queen 10 offsuit. Now, this isn't the Queen 10 suited you're waiting for, but we did have a Queen 10 off here. I folded it once player 4 re-raised. Like I said, everyone was playing pretty tight here, and I did pick up on that early, so which is what led me to just, I'm not going to play it. Whatever. All right, player 2 is going to get out of the way. Back over to player 3. What's it going to be, sir? Let's see if he called or raised. He better do something, man, if he's going to let the clock run down here. Well, after all that time, he decided just to muck it. Okay, whatever, buddy. Do your thing. All right, so here's one of the fun hands we had here. We had a 4-9 suited. So we got spades again. We had the 6-9 spades. Now we got the 4-9 spades, man. Let's do this. And player 4 is going to fold. And this is just a button raise. Now, if player 6 or 1 decided to re-raise here, I might actually have considered even just calling this, you know? I don't know, just the way things are going. But when we turned over 2 pair here with the 4-9, I was like, for real? I was like, let's see a 4 on that turn here. Let's see a 4. Be like the sneakiest card ever. Now, player 1 is going to call us. I'm not trying to get greedy here, but I would definitely like to see a 4 on the turn. I would take a 9 too, but I just kind of prefer the 4. It's just sneakier, you know, a little sneak attack. And would you just see it right there, man? We got the 4. I mean, it happened. It happened. Now I'm not going to call for another 4. Okay, I'll take that. I do want to see like a 3 or a deuce on the river though. And look at this, man. I was trying to get real sneaky with this. Look at this, man. Just hilarious. And I was trying to bait this guy. That's why I did this. I just think it's funny. I'm baiting him. I'm saying, please raise, please raise, please raise. That's why I did this. Let's see if he takes the bait or not. You can see he's letting the clock run down a little bit. He's thinking about taking that bait. He's thinking about it. Unfortunately, he didn't. River card. It was a deuce. I don't know if that was the card we wanted to see, though, just because the clubs got there. And I don't know if this guy has clubs, but check this out. Look at the over here. Just funny. So we threw out the min on the turn. He called, and then I just come over the top here, which is hilarious. I was really just trying to confuse this guy, but it didn't matter. He wasn't going to call anyways, but it is what it is, guys. I didn't expect the 4-9 to do so well there, but every once in a while you play the 4-9 suited and things happen, and clearly that's what happened. Okay, anyways, hope you're still with me. We are making our way to the moment of this session. Gonna open here again with a Jack 10 off. Second time we've had this. All right, player 6 is gonna call, and you know, not really like the worst flop. I mean, mainly because you know we could hit a 9 on the turn. We're blocking the clubs, and we could also hit that queen. But when the ace peeled off on the turn, it just didn't make sense to keep bluffing here. I kind of had to just let this one go. Sadly, and we would have got there on the river. Unbelievable. I mean, I don't know why that turn card couldn't have been a queen. Why did they have to do it to us like that? Just brutal. Okay, anyways, ace 5 offsuit in the big here. We are going to defend. This is always a defend. You know, if this is suited, it's a raise to me off the button, but I'm just going to defend here. And we do end up flopping an ace with straight draw, so not a bad. Could hit that 4. We could hit that 5 for 2 pair on the turn. I would take all of the above at this point. Player 3 could have anything, and I'd expect him to continue with anything anyways. So we're just going to make the call. Turn card was a spade. Not really worried about it. It doesn't really change a whole lot to me. Even though we're not blocking spades, I'm just not worried about it. He checked it. River card was a 10. And I was actually okay just going to showdown here. If he wanted to, you know, throw something out there, totally fine. I don't really... My kicker being a 5 isn't the greatest. We were still losing to some other aces, obviously, like ace 9, ace 6, ace 7. So I just checked it, and we took it down, and cool, right? Cool. You know, whatever. Okay, another queen 10 off. Almost there, guys, with the queen 10 suited. Like I said, it's coming. So we did have queen 10 a few times here. This one I am just going to defend. Another button raise here. Queen 10 offsuit is obviously a call. You're not going to be folding this in the small blind. And we're going to take a flop. Okay, so we paired the queen. We're blocking spades with the 10 of spades, which is good. I'm expecting player 4 to continue once again here with anything, so we're just going to, let him do that, and we're just going to continue. I don't see a check here. And I don't think it's worth raising either, so it's just a call. All right, turn card. Not bad because we do have the spade draw with the 10 of spades. We're blocking spades. I would expect him to continue again here if he has any spade in his hand without the queen, to apply pressure. Not worried about the 3, not worried about really anything at this point, but he ended up checking it. So he kind of like gave up on this, and I decided we can't just check this over again. So we got to throw something out there, even though I felt like he's probably not going to call, especially like a pot size here, unless he thinks we're bluffing. But I don't know what our bluffs would be, but I still had to put something out there, and I just went with the pot size. So it is what it is. Now he ended up calling us, so I think maybe he thought we were bluffing, so I'll take it. But I didn't expect him to call. I'm just being real with you guys right now. I didn't expect him to call. All right, ace king off here. I ended up, I think, slow playing this one. I didn't raise it. Should have raised it. Did I raise it? Yeah, I did a min. I'm sorry. Got a little sneaky again here with the min. He's going to end up just calling here. And we'll take a flop. And it was a good one for a lot of reasons. We're blocking the hearts with the ace. We have top pair. We got nothing to worry about here. I checked it because I felt like he's probably behind anyways. 10 on the turn. We're not going to be checking this now. We got to put something out there. If he's got any draw, I would expect him to continue here. Any draw, really. I mean, ace queen, ace jack, queen jack. But he folded, so I don't know what he had. Maybe a pocket pair, and it just didn't get there. I have no idea. Queen on the river, whatever. Okay, and this should be it, guys. I think we've made it, so hope you're ready. And of course, as I'm breaking this one down, like I said, man, time to get in that community. Pin comment. You can talk with me, other high-level members. Just a lot of good stuff in there. And yeah, one-on-one with me. And it's really just if you're trying to take things a little bit more seriously. All right, anyways, I'm going to open here with the Queen 10 suited diamonds. Now, we had Queen 10 a few times in this one, but now we got the diamonds. We got a raise here, 55 piece. I'm obviously going to call this, and we're going to see a flop. And I'll explain what I was thinking here. Not a bad flop, right? I mean, we got up and down straight draw with the 10, the jack and the 6. Jack would give us the absolute nuts as long as it's not a heart. He checked it pretty quick. The thing about the raise here from player 1 is it definitely felt like it could be like an ace king type of thing, which is possible. So here we go. So this is where I decided to raise, okay? And hear me out on this because this was a little bit interesting. So check this out. I didn't expect this. I figured player 1 would maybe just give this up. That's kind of what I was thinking, right? But I was completely wrong here. He's going to end up raising us, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me. What are you raising with, right? Like, let's say he's got pocket 9s or pocket 8s or something. Why would you raise? I think you're probably just going to call this and slow play it. The raise, to me, it didn't make any sense, Like, I guess if he has an overpair, I mean, do you raise with an overpair to this flop? It's not, like, the greatest spot to do that either. So I was really confused. Okay, I was really confused. And I just wasn't a believer, I guess, and sometimes, when you're thinking through a hand and something's not adding up to you, then you got to make a gut decision. And my gut decision here was to re-raise him instead of just fold this or call. I didn't want to call. I wanted to re-raise him. This didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, get ready for this because it's happening. I let the clock run down a little bit on this so I could just think it through a little bit more. And I figured if he's bluffing me, which is possible, then I'm just gonna re-bluff him. That's what I was thinking, because none of this makes any sense to me, the way this is playing out. Really, you know, in the blender here, thinking this through. And once again, what I was thinking here was like he thinks I'm bluffing, so he's re-raising me, or I mean, what I don't understand it at all. Like I don't. He doesn't have Jack 10. We're blocking that with the 10. Would he do this with like an overpair? I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe he would have just called. So that's why I made this play. And guess what, guys? I was completely wrong. Okay, I was completely wrong, and I'll admit it. This stuff happens though. Now, we're not drawing dead, obviously, but we didn't get there, and we took a big L. Anyways, I still hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts on that. You know, like I said, it just didn't make sense to me, which is why I made the re-raise jam, kind of like trying to bluff his bluff, and it didn't work. Anyways, still hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.